Look at this ingredient list. Without me telling you what this is, could you name the food you're eating here? If the answer is no, then it's not food. It's basically a chemical cocktail. You need to be able to look at a food and be able to recognize it basically instantly. Look at this list. What is this? Good job, you're right. This is food. Nutrition. A subject that is often overcomplicated but does not have to be. So I'm gonna give you a quick no bullshit guide to nutrition and how you can apply it in your day-to-day. I'm not gonna explain the whys of every fact that I mentioned because that would be a way too long video. So you can believe me or not, or simply look up the things that I mentioned if you don't trust me. I've dealt with nutritional science for about 4 years now, ever since I got sick with Crohn's disease, which was 16. I'm 22, and at the beginning I didn't really go into it that deep, but since 18 I would say I've really been into it. Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disease which sits in your digestive tract, so obviously you're gonna have to work with your diet. You digest the food you eat to really figure out what's good for your body and what's low inflammation. I'm gonna go into macros first and then nutrition. I'm not gonna waste your time. The base principle for a healthy diet is eat whole, organic, high quality, natural foods that are high in protein and avoid unnatural, processed, low quality, highly caloric foods. The macros are pretty simple. You don't need to count every macro to a T. Oh, if I just get 2 more grams of carbs, then I'll be at my goal of 450, but I missed a little bit of fat, so I'll just eat this piece of cake so that I get to my fat goals. Shut the fuck up. Counting macros is okay, it's actually good, but for most people it's too time consuming with too little of an effect, in my opinion. But only if you have a generally mindfully healthy diet. If you're completely new to this, you should count, but not every macro. You should count 2 things. You should count protein and calories. Calories should always be in a slight surplus. This just means that you're taking in a little more calories than you're burning daily. You can calculate your daily expenditure online. These are not super mega accurate, but they will give you a good baseline. I'll leave a link in the description. You basically just put in your weight, height, activity level, age, etc. and it will show you an estimated average for your daily expenditure of calories. Now the reason calories are really important is you only actually really put on muscle and mass and get stronger when you are eating in a caloric surplus. And personally, I feel like it's not even comparable. I feel so much better and more energetic, stronger when I'm eating in a surplus and training like 4 times a week. I also look by far the best. Now, many people actually overestimate how much they eat. They overestimate their calories. So that's why they never put on solid muscle and struggle to build a good frame. So make sure if you're really new to this to count them definitely for a few weeks, maybe months, until you can do it by heart. At some point you will be able to rely on your instinct that you are eating enough, but that's also a person by person basis, so count calories. The other thing you should be keeping track of is protein. Protein is really important because firstly, it's by far the easiest macro to be deficient in. After healthy fats, many people don't even hit half of their protein goal. You should be aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which is 2 grams per kilogram. But yes, more is actually better. Studies show that high protein diets don't just act on your muscles positively. They improve your brain, memory, metabolism, skin, your mood, your performance, your sleep, your lean muscle mass, obviously, and many other things. And think about it, proteins are the building blocks of your body, the building blocks of your cells. Every cell in your body contains protein, not just your muscles. And there's studies that show that a high protein diet is unhealthy. They are flawed because they don't take into account where the participants get their protein from. In the study's case, it was mainly protein from unhealthy foods that are already associated with disease risks. So as long as you eat really high quality protein, you can't go wrong. Now on to what exactly you should be eating. And there's actually an easy premise for this. Take this with a grain of salt, but you can't really go wrong as long as you cook your own meals, or a majority of your own meals. Take this with a grain of salt because you can definitely still go out and eat without cooking yourself and lead a really healthy diet. But this is harder to do and needs quite a bit of knowledge as well as willpower. But if you focus on eating whole foods, and a lot of them, while focusing on high quality sources of protein like eggs, sardines, salmon, red beef, chicken, oats, quinoa, yogurt, certain types of cheese, then you will be fine. And if you can, go organic on everything, but especially your proteins. Of course, this is expensive, so be smart about it here. Maybe one high quality protein per day or per week. But the higher the quality, the less inflammatory it's gonna be, and the higher the nutritional profile will be as well. In general, animal protein is higher quality than plant protein because the amino acid profile in animal protein is more complete than in plant protein. If you don't know what this means, just remember animal protein is better utilized and better absorbed in your body and for your muscles than plant protein. Aside from protein, when you do cook your meals, you actually want the rest of your calories to come mainly from healthy fats. A lot of us already do this unknowingly because fat per gram has the highest amount of calories. But if you're conscious about it, you can choose the fats that you fill up your calories with. Healthy fats like butter, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, nuts and seeds, avocados, fish, fatty cuts of meat, beef fat, nut butters should be included in all your meals. High-fat diets have actually been shown to increase your metabolism by 300 calories. They also enhance cognitive function, lean body mass, believe it or not, as well as testosterone production. All things you should be striving for. Also, eating healthy fats with other foods actually lets you absorb all of the nutrients in the other foods properly. There are certain vitamins in most foods that we eat called fat-soluble vitamins. These are only absorbed fully and utilized correctly in the combination with fat. This is why low-fat dressing for your salad is the biggest scam and fallacy on earth. So basically, when it comes to fats, cook with a lot of healthy oils, always. But stay away from unhealthy oils like sunflower oil, soybean oil, canola oil, and rapeseed oil. There are a bunch of these, so look these up. These type of oils, hyper-processed oils, they increase inflammation, which basically means in the no bullshit aspect, you will perform worse in every area of your life because your body will be really busy and stressed to get rid of the inflammation that is inside your body. And there's also an overload of omega-6 fats, which is the bad fat, which also increases the inflammation, which is found in many foods, nowadays especially. And in these processed oils, there's an overload of this. That's why they're so unhealthy. In our diet, we should have a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-3 fats, which are the good fats contained in food, and omega-6 fats, which are the inflammatory fats contained in food. Now, even in really healthy food, you're gonna find omega-6 fats, but the ratio will be 1-to-1, or sometimes the good ones outweigh the bad ones. Nowadays, the average American eats a diet where the ratio is 1-to-20. Omega-3s are 1, omega-6 are 20, and they wonder why they can't sleep, get depressed, get overweight, have a bunch of health issues, get killed by heart disease. Now I come to carbs, and this is gonna be short. The carbs, in my opinion, are relatively irrelevant if you focus on the aspects I've mentioned prior first. Just make sure they're natural sources and unprocessed whole foods like rice, pasta, potatoes, pumpkin, quinoa, oatmeal, and go whole grain for more nutrients. Processed carbs would be French fries, pre-packaged, pre-cooked rice. Basically anything that has like more than 3 ingredients with carbs is usually kind of shit, because the deadly combo with French fries is the combination of carbs, salt, sugar, chemicals in the seasoning, and the oil. Oil with carbs and salt is a deadly combination. It's addicting. It fuels your bad cells. It fuels inflammation because of the oil. And if you combine this type of oil with carbs and salt, it actually enhances the negative effect it has on you. Now let me condense everything I've said in a rather simple short formula. This is gonna be like the ideal diet, which is unsustainable obviously all the time, but here it is. Everything you eat should come from natural sources. It should be a whole food, not processed, and of high quality, which is organic. Count your protein and your calories as much as you can, and be in a slight surplus of calories, and eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Make sure you eat a lot of healthy fats, especially with every single meal. Avoid too many carbs, processed foods, processed oils, unhealthy fats, alcohol, and sugar. Don't stress too much about vegetables. As long as you're getting high quality animal sources, lots of healthy fats, and of course some variety of vegetables every single day. Fruits are also good for specific vitamins, but should not be abused because fructose is actually really not great for you either. So see them as a treat or eat them for vitamin C, because that's important. For supplements, I do recommend taking supplements, specifically magnesium, vitamin C, unless you know what you're doing with fruits, vitamin D, and zinc. If you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables anyway, then don't worry about vitamin C, but you shouldn't overload on vegetables either, because that can be inflammatory, and vegetables actually have a lot of anti-nutrients which are not absorbed from your body, and the bioavailability for vegetables is also low compared to other sources. If you would like a PDF of foods I recommend and foods I don't recommend, I'll send it to your email. So scroll down and you can click the link below. And if you have any corrections or questions, then leave them in the comments, and I'll be there to interact with you. Take care.